In London, the British capital, in 1843, as Fleet Street lay shrouded in a thick layer of bitter winter fog, Ebenezer Scrooge sat in his antique study, unchanged for 40 years. The weathered wooden panels creaked with every step, and the stained window let in a faint ray of winter sunlight, barely enough to illuminate the enormous ledger Scrooge selfishly turned. Outside, children sang Christmas carols in front of shops festooned with mistletoe and ivy, while cellars of roast chestnuts spread a warm fragrance. But all this joy didn't reach Scrooge, who counted his change with trembling hands, each coin passing through his fingers like a precious jewel. "Sir, if you please," Bob Cratchit said in a low voice, trying to warm his freezing hands over a single coal in the grate. "Shut up! Don't bother me with your nonsense!" Scrooge growled, never looking up from his book. "But tomorrow is Christmas." "And what does Christmas have to do with me?" Scrooge interrupted rudely as he raised his head for the first time, revealing the deep wrinkles like trenches dug into his forehead. "If you want to take a day off, I'll double your pay." At that moment, the doorbell rang loudly. Two men in thick coats entered, one carrying a charity book. "Mr. Scrooge, we hope you'll help the poor this Christmas." "Are there no prisons?" Scrooge sneered. "Yes, but— and workhouses? Laws for the relief of the poor. But sir, so many are suffering. Let them die then. It will reduce the population," Scrooge shouted, violently throwing the two men out. As evening fell, Scrooge walked through the frost-covered streets. His long shadow swirled behind him like a sinister ghost projected onto the walls of ancient buildings. The air was thick with the scent of holiday sweets people were baking, but Scrooge's nose smelled only of money and coins. When he arrived at his bleak home in Chambers, he noticed something strange. The iron doorknob seemed to take the shape of a human face, a face he knew well, the face of Jacob Marley, his partner who had died 7 years earlier. "Nonsense," muttered Scrooge as he quickly entered and slammed the door shut behind him. But the strangeness didn't end there. Suddenly, he heard the jangling of heavy chains echoing through the empty corridors. Doors opened and closed of their own accord, and curtains moved without a wind. Then he appeared. The ghost was pale as wax, his eyes sunken, and his ragged clothes hung loosely from his thin body. But even more terrifying were the heavy chains that bound him, each link made of cash boxes, ledgers, and iron padlocks. "Ebenezer, I have come from the realm of the dead to rescue you," said the ghost, his voice hoarse as the wind wafts through the graves. Scrooge trembled like a leaf in the wind, but tried to put on a brave face. "There's a lot of meat on your plate, Marley. Perhaps you've eaten something unsuitable." But the ghost let out a terrifying scream that made the windows tremble. "You don't understand the gravity of your situation. I am doomed to wander between worlds for eternity, bearing the burden of my sins." Then he shook his chains violently, making a terrible clang. "Look at these chains. They are 1,000 times heavier than I am carrying now. I made them myself. Every bad deed, every opportunity to help others I missed, every harsh word, added links to my chains." Scrooge sank to his knees, his eyes brimming with tears for the first time since his childhood. "What do you want from me, Marley?" "You'll be visited by 3 ghosts. If you don't listen to them, your fate will be far worse than mine." Then the ghost began to walk away, screaming in pain, the chains making a sound like the groans of the dead. Scrooge remained kneeling on the floor for hours until he heard the clock strike midnight. Then, suddenly, the curtains of his bed swung open and he found himself face to face with the first of the ghosts.